Mills fashions a kick back towards the wing for Lady! Left now, lines them up. It's coming back. Hawks is the biggest man there.
G'day guys, welcome to Red Time. Jared Barker, Mason Cox for episode 19. 2 rounds to go, mate. You can just smell finals footy, can't you?
It's around the corner.
It is.
It is around the corner.
Well, it might be,
Jesus,
because you blokes are starting to drop it. It might be around the corner. Go on, we're going to get into it.
We'll get into it.
Not sure what's going
on.
on.
Happening. There's a bit happening.
Yeah, you can smell it. You can smell it. You just know when finals is here. All the games mean something. We said that last week, and they mean even more now. It's a crazy race for the top 8, mate. But we've got a lot to get to today. We're going to speak about the Pies. We're going to speak about the finals race, a bit about player contracts. We've got a brand new segment today as well.
Oh, wow.
And, Snoop at the G is on the agenda.
Can't wait.
Snoop at the G.
So good.
Let's get into it, mate. One of the biggest talking points this week is, of course, Collingwood. So you were 10 points on top of the ladder. A little bit of a form slump at the moment. Lost 4 of your last 5 games. And right now it puts your top 4 spot in jeopardy. And with 2 rounds to go, even finals isn't guaranteed now. That's the reality. So I think, what I want to know is from inside the club, how do you deal with a form slump like this late in the season, especially when the stakes are so high and winning now is non-negotiable?
It's like after the loss over the weekend, I feel like, I don't know if people can relate to this, but you know the hangover, and you've got the guy with all the different calculations behind his head of what he's doing, all this kind of stuff. I feel like everyone started doing that for us in the finals campaign. They're like, there's a chance. There's a chance Collingwood won't make it, and these are the 20 million different things that have to happen.
It's not 20 million things.
I don't
it's
know.
only a few
it's
things.
It's a lot more than probably necessary. But obviously I think we've lost, I can't remember how many of the last 4 or 5. But
4 last 5,
4 last 5, which is not ideal. But I think from inside the club, we acknowledge that, we've had a few losses in a row in that sense. But we try to, make those subtle changes that can make a big difference, and then also reinforce the positives that, we still are doing in game day. I still think there's a lot of those. Obviously, we need more of them to be successful and to get wins on the board. But I think that's kind of the biggest thing. A lot of clubs, you go in first, second day after, coming back after a game, you review the game, and then you almost kind of shut the door on that after that day. And then maybe a day or two later, you kind of go, okay, next game. And then you start focusing on the next game. So us, we've dissected and we've digested the last loss and looked at different ways to hopefully turn things around. Then now I think we're in that point of the week now. We're kind of focusing on Adelaide and going over there to hopefully give a better outcome.
And a different structure this week as well, because it was 5 days going into Hawthorn. It's 9 days going into Adelaide. So you probably do have a little bit extra time to reset and go through that game. But what has the mood been like at all? Because it probably was one of the worst performances of the season as a side. Probably the opening round game against the Giants is maybe the only other one that it can be compared to this late in the season. Are there any concerns internally at all?
Not really. No. I think it's kind of funny because obviously the media will swirl and say whatever they want. But I think inside the 4 walls and whenever we go in, we've got this mentality of you shouldn't be able to know whether or not we won or lost over the weekend. And Craig's really good at being able to, lead that in a perspective. And, as us as players, we understand that we've had a few losses. So we're trying to, pump as much positivity into us and reinforce the things we're good at and things like that to be able to try to execute on the weekend. So I don't think you feel that really internally, but that is a reality that we have lost a few games as of recent, and I think we try to keep ourselves at a consistent baseline of emotional awareness. I think up and down, all that kind of stuff. We try to keep a consistent baseline not depending on the outcome of the weekend. So for us inside the 4 walls, haven't really noticed it too much, to be honest.
Do you think so? Keeping things positive and upbeat. Do you reckon that's more important than tackling the form head on?
Well, I think people say form, this word form and confidence and stuff like that. That doesn't really give you specifics. You know what I mean? I'm a stats guy. I'm okay, tell us, if we're having issues with our pressure, or we're having issues with our contest or aerial or whatever it may be. That's real data. You can actually say, okay, this is something we're not, executing, or this is something we used to be a lot better at and we've fallen off in the last few weeks, or things like that. People throw around these kind of just floaty words that don't really actually dissect what's going on. And I don't know. I think like form is a mixture of all those things. Don't get me wrong. And we look at all those individually as a club and dissect things a lot more in depth than what people are probably saying in the public. And that's stuff we kind of look at and go, okay, like let's focus on these, 3 or 4 different things that, our identity as a club and try to execute those the best possible way. And if we do that in the manner that we expect, then, like chances are that there's going to be success that follows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, form and, confidence. I hate those things. I hate those words.
The thing is, I reckon, so watching the press conference last week post-game, I reckon Fly was the most frustrated I've ever seen him. But I've always wanted to know, do you guys watch the presses at all as players? Surely some players do.
Some players probably would. Personally, I'll see things here or there maybe, but I don't think. I mean, because the press conference goes on essentially while you're leaving the ground, and then usually like some players, after a game might go rewatch the game and stuff like that. And then if you want to listen to the presser, that's probably going to be some of the focus areas we'll have for the week going ahead. So that might be an opportunity to kind of get a step ahead in a sense of whenever you come in on that Monday after a weekend's game, you kind of know what the coach is going to be focusing on. That could be an opportunity. But I think, most times you know pretty well at the team meeting what he's going to cover, and whatever he says at the team meeting at the end of the game is usually kind of what happens in the presser. So there's not really a necessity to kind of double up.
Yep. We need to move on. It is a massive game against the Crows. We're going to speak a little bit about that again later in the ep, but St Kilda and their challenge of trying to balance a big fish recruitment with list harmony as well. Ross Lyon has brushed off a fair bit of player unrest rumours on Channel 9 during the week. I don't want to dive into the rumours too much and keep those swirling, but with the talk of the club targeting players like a Tom De Koning and potentially Lee Galea from the Giants as well, and whispers about other players at the Saints potentially wanting out. I think this is still worth a chat more broadly about list harmony and contract dynamics within clubs just generally. So do you think it's worth chasing big money recruits if it risks upsetting the players that a club already has?
Yeah, like I get you want talent.
Yeah. That's
pretty obvious. But I feel like St Kilda for some reason thinks that they just don't have a salary cap. They're throwing around some numbers. I'm going like, you're paying 3 guys that much money. Like you maybe have like $500K for the other 20 or 19 guys that are going to be playing on the weekend. Like this is incredible, some of the stuff. And maybe they're just trying to, inflate prices so then other teams can't afford them or think they can't afford them and things like that. But it's an interesting one. I don't know. I think St Kilda, everyone knows St Kilda has cash. And let's be honest. You don't throw these numbers out there if you don't have cash.
Worst kept secret
of all time. But they're throwing some numbers out there, which I'm all for players getting paid. Don't get me wrong. I am 100% for that.
Nothing wrong with getting cash.
Nothing wrong with getting cash and going where you want to go and play for the team you want to play for. But I do think that it is financially impossible for them to land all these people that are linking themselves to.
No.
There's just no way.
You can't pay everyone a mil.
Some of these are like 2 mil for some of these guys that are numbers getting thrown around. And I also think it's a little bit of the media pumping it out because they know that it's going to be a headline. If you all of a sudden, come out with a bigger number than the last person that came out with a number, you go, oh, well, St. Kilda's got even more money than we thought, and things like this. So I think some of the reporters that are saying these things, I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm saying like there definitely is the idea of being the first to then release these things. Whether, that's, I think there was a ridiculous number, I won't say what it was, but that might be hitting all your bonuses, making the best and fairest, making the All-Australian team, like all these kind of incentives tacked on top, which realistically, if you got like a 10-year deal or something like that, you're probably going to have an injury in there somewhere. Like something's going to happen. Like you're not going to get
reported
the full
figures,
amount of money.
Yeah, it's maximum earning capacity, which is split up differently for every player's contract.
Yeah, but then people just see the number.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, he's getting paid that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's not realistic. No. So I don't believe it. I don't think people should believe it either because then it gives this expectation for the player if he does go there and all these kind of things. So I think people just need to understand, I guess, the detail behind those numbers rather than just seeing the big figure and going, are you kidding me? He's going to get paid how much money to go to St. Kilda? That's ridiculous. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. And like you got to think there are 44 people on the list. So if you talk about some of the cash that's getting thrown around there, like someone else who's probably outperforming their contract probably gets going like, hey, that guy I know is getting paid 7 times as much as I am. Is he really worth 7 times as much of value as I am? Like, who knows? So I think there's probably a little bit of unrest that gets thrown around, especially if it doesn't kind of pan out the way they want it to pan out.
Yep.
But I'll say this, I'd rather have 44 happy players that are on similar money than 2 or 3 absolutely exponentially great players and 18 behind them that are getting underpaid and furious about it.
Well, just on that, does it affect? So when your club tries to chase a big money recruit, does it affect the motivation and the mindset of an existing player on the list, or is there an understanding of the business side of footy and knowing that to lure a free agent, you might need to overpay?
Yeah, I think there's definitely understanding of that. But if your club's not winning, you're obviously frustrated you're not winning, but also you're getting underpaid from comparatively to other people there. So you start, comparing apples and apples, and you go, okay, well, how many more kicks does he get in the game? How much is that worth? And then people start really going into the dissection of that. But we were talking about this beforehand because there's a great quote from, I think Pat McAfee put it up earlier today, and it was a little reel from Nick Saban. If you don't know Nick Saban is, he's one of the greatest, if not, I think comfortably, the greatest college football coach. And he's talking about different college teams and payments and stuff. And he said, if you got $20 million roster, if you don't pay the right guys, you'll be shit out of luck. This is essentially what he said. So
I feel like you should listen to someone who was uber successful at a place like Alabama.
Yes,
So,
absolute dynasty over there. And let's just say you got to make sure you pay the right people to be successful. And St Kilda, that's my advice for you.
I would just to put it out there, I would love Nasai, Wanganeen-Malera to stay at that club. It'd be so good, like optically one, but two, like the loyalty. I know it doesn't need to be such a big thing, but there is something about it that would matter to people. And knowing he can be sign until free agency potentially, I don't know. There's just something about Nasai staying. Best player they've had in a very long time, really a young player. I'd love nothing more.
Such an Australian thing for you to say.
What?
It's just the whole kind of
loyalty.
Like stay at one club for the rest.
No,
of
I don't care.
The whole career.
I don't care. I'm just saying it would be nice as a young player to do that. He can do what he wants. He can do what he wants.
It'd be a great story.
Yeah.
I think he can be the face of that club for sure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's got to do what's best for him.
They've definitely sold that to him as a vision as well. There's no doubting that.
Yeah,
Be the marquee player at our club and lead us into our next phase of success.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's does he get an offer that's equivalent to a team that's already successful?
Yeah.
Don't know. You definitely have to, as him, who's going to sign a long-term deal. You got to look at kind of what the future looks like. And, do you want success now or do you want success do you believe enough in that club and the people that have around it to then know that there's going to be success in 2 or 3 years' time?
Yeah.
That's the question he's got to ask.
I'm big on the Saints. I reckon they'll be all right.
You're going to be all right?
Messiah, stay put. Stay put.
What is Rowan Marshall going to do if they get TDK? That's my question.
Play 2 rucks. That's fine. Moving on, start, bench, drop. We started this last week. It went so well that we're doing it again. Guys.
Love that.
So let's play the role of selector for these following statements. I got the first one for you. Nat Fyfe is a top 5 player of the 21st century.
Start that every day of the week.
Gun.
Absolute gun. Doesn't get the credit he deserves because he lives in Perth. Not as much media, here in Melbourne that we hear about from the Perth teams. But he, he's one of those players, game changer. You think of the people like Dustin Martin, Nat Fyfe for sure.
Yeah.
You think of those Brownlow medal winners that really could just turn a game in an instant. Could take a specky, could just barrel through people untackable.
He was very good aerially for a midfielder.
Oh, yeah.
He was on another level, yeah.
He's probably one of the first kind of big midfielders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They could get around the ground at the same time. And I don't know how many games he's played, but I think there's got to be.
So I checked this, 245.
245.
If he plays the next 2 games, he gets 247, 3 finals. His 250th could be in a grand final.
Wow, that would be
How
wild.
poetic is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got to play, that'd be
He
wild.
has to play in all of those games. They might not select
He
him.
might be a sub at some point, I think. But
Anyway.
yeah, they've got, Dave Mundy's 376, and then you got Matt Pav 353. So whenever I saw those numbers and I thought,
Both champions.
Callie, how much you travel, everything else, 373 is like the equivalent of 450. At least.
Of a Victorian player.
Of a Victoria player.
That's harsh.
100%. And credit to Dave Mundy. I think that man should definitely be in some kind of research panel of some sort, just to figure out what you can get out of your body and how to deal with travel and how to, handle that situation.
A few business class trips would help that over the journey.
No
I reckon he would have earned that as well.
Yeah.
Heart and soul player.
Yeah. But I think Nat Fyfe, he is, I've said this multiple times, one of the good guys of football.
Yep.
I've got so much love for him. I think he's an incredible person. Every time I talk to him and see him, he's just such a humble, just down-to-earth person. You won't find too many people, if anyone, to be honest with you. I don't think you'll find a single person that'll have a bad word to say about him. And, it's sad to see him go because you always love to see those kind of people in the AFL landscape and just around and, just being successful. But, yeah, hopefully it's a positive experience for him going out, and he gets the credit he deserves.
It's a shame that people have forgotten how good his peak was at his absolute peak. But it's also a shame that he's been injured so late in his career, which has derailed it somewhat. But from the middle of 2014 to the middle of 2015, there's a 23-game stretch.
Yeah.
He polled 48 Brownlow votes in those 23 games, which is the equivalent of one season. And he only didn't poll in 6 of those games, and these are his stats in those 6 games he didn't poll in.
This would be good.
29 touches, 11 clearances, 24 and 2 goals, 31 and 10 clearances, 18 and 2 goals, 31 and 1 goal, 26 1 goal and 9 clearances. They're the only games he didn't poll in that 23-game stretch, 48 Brownlow votes.
What, did someone kick 10 goals on the day?
I should check. I didn't check who actually.
Votes over that.
I didn't check who polled, but I really want to now because that's outrageous.
Wild.
They're the
That's
games
absurd.
he didn't poll in. That's how good he was and how dominant he was in this league at his absolute peak. So, yeah, absolute gum.
Yeah, we'll start that top 5 player of the 21st century. I'll give to you the AFLW rule changes for this season will backfire and won't work in the IFL.
Yeah, I might start that. So what they're trying to do is open up the game a bit more, keep it a bit more free-flowing. Hopefully that increases scoring in the AFLW. Yep. Specifically, though, I want to look at the stricter holding the ball interpretations that they have. So essentially, you need to force yourself to try and keep the ball in motion. So if it gets locked up in a tackle, it still could be holding the ball, essentially. Yep. It's just a stricter interpretation. So prior opportunity and all that still exists, but I think it disincentivizes getting the ball first. And I just reckon we'll see holding the ball be overpaid, knowing that it's a new rule and there is that directive of the umpires now. We are going to see so many holding the ball free kicks. We're going to be left there scratching our heads. I'm sure the players will as well. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't think it will work in the AFL. I wonder if they're doing this to trial it, to see if it could happen in the AFL, because we know how much grey area there already is for holding the ball.
What?
This doesn't help. This does not help that situation at all. The ambiguity only increases in my eyes.
I think what will happen is, with that ruling is a lot of people will end up playing a territory game where they just kick it off the ground.
Well, that's
because like you picking it up, essentially you get
tagged.
So okay, well, I might as well just kick it 20, 30 meters down the line, then just everyone just keep following up. So it does open the game up a bit, but I just don't get it. And I understand like people want to keep it the same
free flowing. They want the game
free
to be,
flowing and everything else, but like there is an aspect of AFLW in the way the ball's moved that's different from the IFL. I think like people just need to acknowledge that. I mean, they've made it 16 on the field. They've made it a smaller ball, and then this new rule that they're gonna, I think between the arcs, they're gonna, if it goes out of bounds or for a ball up, they're gonna move it in 10 meters.
If there's a stoppage within 10 meters of the boundary line, or if it's closer to the boundary line, they're gonna move it
10 meters in. I think, So to me, I'm just like, why don't we make it a smaller field? Like I don't understand that, and then just put 16 on a field. I understand. Like, I don't think you talk to many AFLW, players. Well, I don't think the AFL really asked too many of them, but I don't think too many of them would be against that. I think they're pretty understanding, and that's me as my opinion. I think is my opinion of other people's opinion, if that makes sense. But I just think that it needs to be an understanding. We need to get to this point where we find a good mix. And I feel like we're really still trying to figure out. I mean, there were so many issues around the scheduling and then everything else that was going on with AFLW. It's like we just need to find a bit of a settling point for all of this stuff, because it just seems like it's a bit all over the place. It makes, I think, the players that are involved just, uncertain as to what's going to happen. And I think that's what you want as a player. You just want clear direction and things to have a consistent nature. And that's maybe something that AFLW hasn't had for a while.
All right, let's try and rip through these. Players won't embrace state of origin.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
I don't either.
I mean, I think there has to be, NRL boys, they get obviously financial incentives. So I think if they're doing that, they have to have a financial incentive for the players that are playing. I just think that there's not really a love-hate. I mean, we're comparing this to the NRL, let's be honest. There is a love and a hate between Queensland and New South Wales. I don't think there's that same love and hate between Victoria and the rest of the country.
There's no passion or meaning behind the games. No.
I don't think that's a thing. Like, most of the NRL, bar what Melbourne Storm, are in those two states, which makes sense because it's one versus the other. Where the AFL is a national competition. We are all over the place. So it's just kind of disperses this fan base that hates each other. So I just don't think that there's really the same level of sentiment that the NRL does have with the two states that the AFL will have between Victoria and the rest of the other states. Like, I just don't think that's really there.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Maybe that's too clear a way.
Fans won't care, and I don't know if the players would either. But
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, I'll tell you this: it is being thrown around quite a bit for us at the PA and stuff like that. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Andrew Dillon did say the AFL are in talks with clubs, players, state governments, etc. So it's going to happen. An announcement will come.
I'll be interested to see how they roll it
see.
out because there's a lot of question marks around it. We haven't gotten any detail as to how it will happen, but there's going to have to be something that separates it and sets it apart from the NRL state of origin.
Yep.
Maybe call it something different.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe that's a job for next week.
That's the first job. All right, I got to you. Carlton backing Michael Voss into the final year of his contract is the right call.
I don't mind this. I don't think the answer is always just sack the coach, sack the coach. Sometimes just back him in, get some fresh voices around him in the way of maybe it's new assistants or they've already, I think Brad Lloyd, the footy boss, is leaving at the end of this season as well. So Graham Wright is making some changes, but we don't know, without being inside the four walls, what kind of coach he is. Is he the better man manager as opposed to the tactician? And we don't know what kind of coach he is. So do you need better diversity in the assistants that you do have? Do they need to be more tactical? Do they need to be the better man managers? So sort of just back Graham Wright and what he's doing. He's been there assessing the footy department of that club. So if he makes that call, then I'm willing to say it's the right call as well.
As someone who's dealt with Righty over the years, he's a very intelligent man.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Got a lot of experience in the IFL, so I'll back whatever he wants to do.
Success follows him in this sport. So
I will say this, though. I mean, who the hell is going to tell Vossi that he's fired? I would be running for the hills. As soon as I got it out of my mouth, I'd be like, I'm out. Don't hit me. Don't kill me. I will say this, though. Don't be surprised if Carlton puts in a bit of a placeholder of a coach. So if they get an assistant coach in there that, could possibly be a head coach at some point.
They wouldn't announce that, though.
No, but I think they'll have someone
plan,
like someone that could be qualified enough if things do go south that he could take over. Yeah. I think that's kind of
you'd assume that they'd already have that plan in place.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty understandable.
Snoop Dogg will go down as one of the best grand final performers in history.
Can't look past Meatloaf. Can't look past the great man.
What a year that was, 2011.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my gosh. It's the greatest. That might be my favorite vision of AFL ever. It has nothing to do with the game.
I'm glad. What do you reckon? Are you start, bench, or cut that?
I think I'll middle ground this. I'll bench it because I think there's going to be two sides to this, right? Like, obviously, the AFL is trying to engage the younger generation with Snoop Dogg. The older generation, let's be honest, probably doesn't know who he is and a lot about him. I went on 3AW this week, and believe me, there's a bit of there's some wild comments being put out there as
who's bringing their dog.
Oh my gosh! Seriously, I think there was someone complaining about being a bad look for the AFL after doing this drug kind of revamp of the drug rules and stuff, and I was like, come on, guys, really? Like, you don't think that Rolling Stones, if they came out here, you'd be stoked? You think they haven't done a drug in their life? Like,
it's still a risky hire.
It's a risky hire, I think,
which is quite exciting.
But that's what I mean. It's like, let's do something different. Let's have something we talk about in 5 years. I mean, if you asked me who performed in 2016, wouldn't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I'm
sure it was great.
I'm sure it was fantastic, but we don't even remember who it was. So I think there's like that. I think for me, as someone who's listened to Snoop Dogg growing up and stuff like that, and he's kind of revamped his whole career. Now he's friends with Martha Stewart and does a cooking show, and he was the face of the Olympics. He's going to be the face of the LA Olympics. He's actually quite entertaining, and he's quite hot on the market right now. So it's a good get by the AFL.
He was involved in the 2022 Super Bowl as well over at SoFi Stadium, but that was a part of a more broader R&B hip-hop type of thing that they did. He's on his own for this one. So I reckon it's one of two ways, right? It's either going to hit and it's going to be awesome, or could fizzle completely, but I don't know.
I don't think the people on the day, because the people that can afford a grand final ticket, probably not the right generation. You know what I mean?
Maybe,
maybe not, but I think you probably...
I see what you're saying.
But I think the people at home will love the visual of it. Yeah. So I think, get the pyrotechnics, get, the whole, visual cameras and angles and all that kind of stuff figured out, so then the people at home know it's an amazing experience.
What could possibly go wrong with Snoop? Maybe an F-bomb.
Oh yeah,
But-
I think he could roll out.
If he starts,
something in his hand.
if he starts lighting something
Yeah,
on the stage,
I think
and
people
the
might
AFL
throw a
starts
fit, yeah.
scrambling for an ad break.
Victoria loses its mind over Snoop Dogg at the MCG. I will say this:
he'll be
who's your
fine.
dream musician for an MCG grand final?
I don't really have a dream. I don't
None.
know. I'll welcome anyone.
No, screw it. I'll tell you mine. The Red Hot Chili Peppers would absolutely kill it.
That's a good shout.
It's a very good one, I think.
Yeah, I'm a
Covers
sucker
all generations. Everyone's pretty happy with it.
I'm a sucker for Chad Smith on the drums too, so that's good.
Coldplay, Taylor Swift. I think most people are pretty happy with that. Don't think it'll ever happen. But the last one and the best one of all, which can happily make everyone excited, AC/DC.
Yeah.
But then I guess there's been
Bit of TNT.
There's been a recent video out of AC/DC that's not too flattering, but I still think that would get everyone there at the MCG and everyone excited here in Australia, being obviously a bit of a hometown hero.
All right, one more for me. What do you got?
What do you got? Oh yeah, Bevo and the Bulldogs doubling down on attack will continue to pay dividends.
I know defense wins premierships, but there's something exciting about it, going all in on attack. So their last 5 games, they are absolutely cruising. They're averaging 31 scoring shots, which is the second most in the AFL, second behind only Geelong, who have the easiest fixture of all time. We know that. So, yeah, look, their record against top 8 teams is still an issue, but they scored 98 against the Crows, 113 against the Cats, 96 against the Suns, 97 against the Lions. They were all losses, but all close losses. So I get that, you want to hone in on defense, but sometimes it's too late to fix, and just doubling down on what your strength is, I reckon we could be for some exciting, intriguing finals games if they do make it.
Exciting, not sustainable. I will say this though.
Oh well, like let's. I'm going to remember that.
Tim English has been getting forward. He's been kicking goals
good
as a ruckman, which has been good.
He's been helping
So
out
they've
defensively too.
Yeah, he's been going really well. So shout out to Tim over there. But defense does win premierships.
I know,
I will
but
say that. I know it's
if like they're going to
classic
score 100,
saying,
you got to score 110. I love that.
Oh, it's exciting for
as
the
a
fan.
feeling,
Yeah, it's great for the fan. But
Anyway, we'll see how it works. I know you. All right, I'm going to remember.
if the
you
fan
saying
was a
this.
coach, there wouldn't be too many of those fans who win premierships. I'll say that.
We'll see what happens. All right, time for something new on Red Time. It's time for the Hot Stat Checklist, powered by StatMate. Download the app for free now. We're going to look at the big games this week and point out a few key stats in each of them. Coxy, we're going to start with Freo and Brisbane. 4th versus 5th, so high stakes game. Yep. All of these are, interestingly, these teams haven't played each other since round 1 last year, which I thought was cooked.
That's nuts.
I was scrolling through my phone going like, when was Freo's last game against Brisbane? What's their record against them? And I'm scrolling. And I'm thinking, I'm still scrolling.
You're still scrolling.
It's nearly 2 seasons.
He's in the doom scroll, just trying to find the game.
I digress. So Dockers forward Sam Swikowski has managed to hit the scoreboard in all 7 of his games at Optus Stadium this year. And, of course, gun midfielder Caleb Sarong in 4 of his last 5 games against the Lions has had more than 30 disposals. So 2 players to keep an eye on in that game.
I've got to choose Fremantle in this game over at Perth.
Home
obviously.
team.
Home
Yeah,
team.
makes sense.
Brisbane, though, I don't think it'll be a blowout by any means. I think Brisbane will be competitive. But, I've got to go Freo on this one.
Yeah.
Everything's on the line as far as top 4 spots and everything else. And it's pretty nuts to say. Fremantle, top 4 maybe.
So they could if they win this and beat the Dogs in the last round. Brisbane could also miss the 8 as well, which is crazy to think about too. Gold Coast and GWS. We're going to put the focus here on Toby Green. He's booted 15 goals in his last 5 games against Gold Coast and has been a multiple goal kicker in all of those 5 games. His importance this week cannot be understated with no Jake Stringer and no Jesse Hogan.
Yeah, he's got to kick at least 5
Yeah.
this week for them to even have a chance. So, I think he's capable of it. Do I think that's going to get him over the line and he's going to be able to? I'm not really sure. So, I still think Gold Coast at home can get over GWS, which puts them in a very interesting predicament. But, Toby Green's got to have an insane day out.
He does.
It's wild.
So-
we all know that.
So much is riding on this game. So
Yeah.
Suns win. They've got that game in hand, so they're effectively top 4
Gosh, I keep
already.
forgetting about
But
that.
right
It's
now,
wild,
they win this, they're basically locked into top 4. But if the Giants lose, they're the most likely team to actually not make finals. So a lot rides on this, and Toby Green does need a big game, you would think. Adelaide and Collingwood, huge contest there on Saturday night as well. The Pies have won their last 10 against the Crows. Four of those last 5 by single-digit margins. They are always close games, so we could be in for another tight one. Crows skipper Jordan Dawson, He is averaging in his past 4 games against Collingwood 30.2 disposals. So I'm not going to say tag him. But you guys don't generally tag though. Fly doesn't really deploy
really. I don't even know who
a hard run with. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Gun.
Fantastic. And he plays everywhere.
Potentially
like he'll be in the back line,
captain.
forward line, midfield. He just kind of floats around where he wants at times, and they kind of put him wherever they need him. So he's a plug and play player, and credit to him, he's always done really well against us. So something I'm sure we'll have to handle on the day.
Can I give you a choice?
Mm-hmm.
Dawson, 15 touches or less, or Rankin, 15 touches or less. If you were guaranteed one of them this weekend, which one would you take?
I don't know if I can say that publicly because of the betting gods. I think that might actually get me in a little bit of trouble, Jamie.
Nah, maybe. You don't need to answer it, but hey, both very good players regardless.
Yeah, well, let's just go. That's a very PR answer. I love it. Yeah,
both guns. You got to stop both of them.
That sounded like you had placed a bet and was trying to get some inside information.
No, gamble responsibly. That was the hot stat checklist powered by StatMate. Download the app for free now. Massive games this week. Cannot wait for that. Yeah. I mean, with all due respect to Essendon and St Kilda and North and Richmond.
Anyway, we move on to the Lakes. Let's go to the next segment.
What do we got? Almost time to wrap it up. Don't be surprised if only one each this week, but I'll let you go first.
Yes. Don't be surprised. The Gold Coast Suns are the greatest glow up of the year. I've got them beating GWS and obviously ending up in the top 4. And to be honest, for a team that's never made finals, making top 4, Damian Hardwick's got to be stoked. And also, I must say this: I think Gold Coast is actually going to jump GWS as the better expansion team going forward.
Better expansion team going forward,
as far as where they finish on the ladder. Yep.
Yeah, I mean they'll finish
every year.
On the ladder
Every year for
the next how many years?
I'll go 5 years.
I swear they still need
till Dimmer's gone.
They need to play finals. They haven't played finals yet. They need to win finals. They need to play. Giants have been in the grand final at least.
Yeah. But if you finish. I think where Gold Coast is going to finish, and if GWS doesn't make the 8, like a lot of people are predicting, then I think you have to secede that Gold Coast is the better team for the year.
So you're essentially just saying you're more bullish about the future of the Suns, immediate future of the Suns, than you are the Giants.
Yeah, and I don't think that's disrespecting the Giants. I think it's just saying that the Suns have a very bright future ahead of them.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They're a good team.
Yep.
See what happens. Don't be surprised if Jeremy McGovern's son becomes the youngest ever person to be fined by the AFL. That's one of the best clips I've seen all season. Footy clips, that is. So Jeremy McGovern was doing that lap of honour at Optus Stadium, and his son was with him, walking around and flipping the old bird to the crowd, which is just insane. It was a bird that Guinea would be proud of. I'll put it to you that way.
Yep.
Insane stuff. It's so good.
I'm hoping the German government just got his last paycheck from the AFL. He's like, oh, come find me. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter anymore, you know?
I don't know. Like, obviously players cop it from over the feds.
Yeah.
I don't know if the son of a retiring player would be copping abuse. If he did, he told him where to shove that abuse.
Exactly.
That way. But,
like father, like son.
Elite stuff.
Unreal.
Should we wrap it up there?
Let's do it. Yep.
Good app. Thank you, Mason. Go well this weekend, mate. All the best.
Thanks, Bella.
Speak to you next week.
Sounds good.
Everyone at home listening or watching, thanks for you as well. Enjoy the footy. Speak to you next time.